Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another edition of Real Crimes with me. So, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that each time I upload something new, you can actually be notified. If you're an old subscriber, welcome back and thank you for being part of the channel. Please do subscribe, do share. Let's grow the channel. Let's share these stories together. If you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, do feel free to write them down in the comment section so that I can actually go through them and see how we can improve the channel and how I can create more content that is relevant to you guys. I do take note of your comments, like I honestly do. Anyway, enough rambling. So in today's story, I am going to talk about something that happened in China, the People's Republic of China. And this was the death of a South African student who was studying in China. So in the year 2021, while the pandemic was still on and, stuff was still happening, and families could not be visiting each other and all, there was a girl by the name Ho Tatso. Okay, I'm going to be calling her Tatso from now on. So Tatso was a student from the Republic of South Africa, and she was studying towards her a bachelor's degree in engineering. She was studying at the University of, she was studying at Shandong University of Technology. Now, Shandong is a province in China, and she was in the capital city, which was Jinan. Okay, so that's where she was studying, and she was staying there. So what happened is when the pandemic started, I think you'd all remember that most countries actually evacuated their citizens from China, the likes of the UK, the likes of Australia, America, South Africa, India. So when citizens were being evacuated, Tato decided that she was going to stay in the country. She was going to stay in China. She didn't have a reason to come back home, so she was going to stay and continue studying. And then there came a point when, I don't know if you know anything about China really, but in China, most foreigners that are here actually teach English. And students can actually do that as well if it's not allowed, or initially it was not allowed. I just saw that there is a new policy that is being, that's probably going to be implemented by some provinces where students will be allowed to work. But yeah, students do work in China illegally, of course, for now. But yeah, a lot of them teach English. So she stayed in China. She didn't go home. She stayed in China. This is according to her mom, or according to her parents. She decided she was going to stay in China and she was going to continue with her studies. But there was a time when most students were actually studying online, both in China and out of China. So probably she was one of those students that was studying online, but she managed to get a job, a teaching job. Yeah. Around that time, teaching jobs were like easy to get because a lot of people had left the country. So schools, training centers were desperate for teachers. So they would actually even take students to teach. And she was actually one of the lucky ones that got a teaching job. So she was still staying in the same province, and she was scheduled to be graduating in June of 2021. So she actually had a friend called Princess, and I want to believe Princess was also South African. That's just my thinking. So according to Nomsa, that is Tato's mom, one day when she was at work, she got a call from Princess, but she could not hear clearly what Princess was saying. So she requested that Princess send her an audio, a WhatsApp audio. To which Princess responded by sending an audio and telling her that Tato was no more. Tato had actually died, and she had fallen off a building from the 13th floor to the ground, and she had passed on. She also said she got a 4-second video from Princess that showed Tato's lifeless body on the floor at the bottom of the building. Now that's not nice. That's just so sad, you know. So yeah, that's basically what happened. Now, after Tatu had passed on, obviously parents need answers. They want to understand what happened. Where, when, where were you, princess, when all this was happening? This is your friend. Can you explain where this happened? But here's the problem. Princess did not have answers. As much as Tatu was her friend, Princess didn't have all the answers. Why? Because this accident did not happen in the city where Tatu was staying. Like I said, Tatu was staying in Jinan, which is the capital city of Shandong province. But the accident happened in Hangzhou. That's like another province altogether in Zhejiang province. That's a different province altogether. And if you look at the distance between Hangzhou and Jinan, it's just slightly over 900 kilometers, which makes it about 2.5 hours to 3 hours by speed train, and 5 to 6 hours by a slow train. So that's quite some distance there. And it is said that she had gone to that city, to Hangzhou, to visit a friend. And it looks like nobody really knows who this friend was, whether it was a friend from home or it was a friend from another country. It was a male friend or a female friend. No one knows. All Princess knew was she got a message from this friend to say that Tatu had passed on. She had fallen off a building, and they also sent Princess that 4-second video. Okay. Obviously, Princess probably knew that this friend is a man or a woman, and probably the family now knows whether the friend was a man or a woman, but such things, people sometimes prefer to keep them private. Yeah. Okay, so this was a very smart woman. So according to her parents, she had done some course after she matriculated, but she stopped somewhere and had a desire to go and study outside the country. So they sent her to China to study. And she was about to graduate, actually. She had intentions of pursuing her career, or her studies rather, further in the UK. This was a final year student, and she was 24 years of age, like very young life. So yeah, Tatu's parents then spoke to Princess, who didn't have a lot to say other than what they've told us. They told us that they told the media that Princess said Tatu had passed on in Hangzhou, and that she had gotten the message from the friend that Tatu had gone to visit, as well as the 4-second video. That's all they could see. So Tatu's family went on record appealing for help from citizens and all well-wishers, companies, you know, to get her body back home. And indeed, people came through, South Africa came through for the family, where actually they were saying they just needed, like, I think it was 350,000 rand to get, it was 24,000 USD to get her home, to get her body home. And yeah, they actually surpassed that. They did what is called help a body. So that raised about, okay, slightly over 600,000, with one well-wisher pledging 370,000. So basically, there was somebody who was willing to pay the whole amount to get Tatu's body back home. But yeah, other people came through as well. So they ended up with enough money to actually repatriate her body home, as well as to travel to go and collect her spirit. You know how we Africans do these things. So yeah, this happened, the death of Tatu actually happened on the 30th of April, okay, 2021. And the parents waited, because then they had to be postmortems, they had to be processing of papers and everything. The embassy was definitely involved. The South African embassy came through for the family and helped to do the paperwork, as well as to make sure that her body is sent home. And yeah, finally in May, or is it in June, they received the body of their daughter home, and they had a very beautiful, beautiful send off for her. And one of her sisters is said to have said that, yeah, so it was in June. One of her sisters said that she remembers all the good times that she shared with her sister, and they were like really close and everything. Now, how they end up getting the body was because the Chinese embassy, oh no, no, the Chinese embassy, the Chinese authorities said they had done investigations, and this was just basically an accident. There was nothing dodgy about her death. There was nothing, there was no suspicion of foul play. How you get off from the 13th floor to the ground, and it's considered not an accident. It's considered that there's nothing dodgy. It was merely an accident. And this friend who was there is still nowhere to be found and has not been able to talk to the family, because I mean, Tato's mom is said to have asked for the contact of the friend so that she could find out from her what exactly happened, from her or from him, I don't know what exactly happened, but this friend was nowhere to be found. But yeah, the friend did exist, because she couldn't have traveled a whole 900 kilometers for nothing. You know, there definitely was a friend. And also, Princess didn't have much to say, because Princess was also staying in a different city. She wasn't staying in the same city as her friend. You know, she was actually staying in a different city. So she only knew what Tato was telling her. But yeah, the authorities in China ruled it out as an accident, and they said there was nothing suspicious. Now the family accepted that, because they just wanted her remains to be brought back home. Imagine your child dies in April. Up to June, you still haven't buried that child. You're still gathering for a funeral. You know, at first people will come and try to comfort you and try to be there for you, but people get tired. I mean, people are people. People will eventually get tired. So yeah, eventually the family just decided, whatever the results, let's just, you know, bring her body back home and lay her to rest. So it was done, and in June the family went to collect her body from the Ora Tambo International Airport. They went to receive her body, and she was buried in her home. Okay, at least in her country. She was buried in her country. So I don't know, guys, but I honestly feel like there's somebody who's not telling the truth. There is somebody who did not do enough digging, or somebody just decided, oh, these are foreigners, let's just leave them, you know, like it's their thing. After all, they're both foreigners. Let's just, you know, this thing of foreigners, it happens everywhere. I mean, in most countries, when you're a foreigner and shit happens to you, oh my God. I mean, when bad things happen to you, yeah, some countries would just sort of dismiss you, like, so what? So yeah, I feel like there's somebody who was not disclosing something, or somebody is not saying something. I would have loved for the friend to actually come out and say, this is exactly what happened. I would have loved that. At least for the parents to get that. It would give them a bit of closure, I suppose. Well, that's just me speaking as a parent. I would want somebody to actually come out and say, this is exactly what happened in her last moments. This is what went down. And maybe see if we can get some closure out of there. But yeah, from what I read, nobody came out to actually explain what happened to her in her last moments. They only got a report from this Chinese police saying that it was an accident, and nothing more, nothing dodgy, just a mere accident. What do you guys think? From the 13th floor, what kind of an accident is that? That's a freaky accident. What was she doing by the window Was there a broken window somewhere? Was there a broken balcony somewhere? How did she fall from there? Like, I don't know. Can somebody explain how that is possible? But I just feel like there is more. But anyway, the family decided that after burying her, they were going to plan a trip to South Africa in August of 2021. Now, I didn't see that part. I didn't see if they actually did it. They were saying they were going to plan a trip to South Africa to China in August of 2021 to go and collect her spirit, which is something that is cultural and which is something that is normal. So they were saying that when they go to China, they were going to have to stay for 28 days in quarantine, and then they would proceed to Hangzhou to go and collect their daughter's spirit and bring the spirit home. I don't know if they actually did that. I don't know really, because there was no way that there were any details about that. I didn't see any details about whether or not they actually came to collect his spirit, which is, if that is your culture and you don't get to do it, I think for a long time or for the rest of your life, you still feel like maybe your child's spirit is somewhere just loitering because you didn't bring that spirit home. I mean, if you totally believe it, you will feel that way. So for them, it was very important that they do it. I'm not sure if they did it, but I want to believe they did it. Or maybe, if I look at August, China was actually hit by the Delta variant. Probably they couldn't do it. Maybe they are planning a trip for a later date. So yeah, that's what happened to Tatso. But I don't know, guys. Do you really think she died from, it was just an accident, it was an accidental fall from the 13th floor? Do you think it was an accidental fall? I don't know. What are your thoughts? So while we are still talking about South African students that have passed on in China due to falling off a building, in 2013 there was another boy called Mujahidi Desai who actually slipped off the balcony. So it said that he was standing on the balcony and leaning over to talk to somebody, a friend who was on a lower floor, and then he slipped and fell. So he hung on to the bars of the balcony for a moment, and but he couldn't hold on for long, so he actually let go and he fell down and he died. It was just a 7-story building, but he died. That was 2013 and he was only 19 years old. So because of his religion, he had to be buried quickly. So his parents actually traveled to China to bury him. Yeah, they spoke so highly of him. He was just 19 years old. Come on, guys. This kid was straight out of high school and he was in a school of medicine in China because the parents said that he couldn't get into a school of medicine in South Africa. So they decided to send him to China to study medicine. And they said he had only studied for 1 semester, and for that 1 semester he had just passed with great grades, and they were really like excited for his future. They were excited about his life. He was described as somebody who was very compassionate and somebody who was really smart. Now he just slipped off the balcony and died at the age of 19, and he was buried in China. Because of his religion, they couldn't take his body home because according to his religion, he had to be buried really, really quickly. 2013, a 19-year-old. Like, guys, no parent should ever have to bury their child. Yeah, really sad. So probably that's the same thing that happened to Tatso. Probably it was an accident. I don't know. But there are no details in Tatso's case, whereas in Mujahidi's case, the details are clear. It was a clear accident. I don't know, guys. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. These are like sad stories, but thank you for watching. And if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. If you are an old subscriber, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for stopping by. Please do subscribe to this channel. Do share. Let's grow the channel together. I have very limited time these days on my hands to do recordings, but I will try to make sure that weekends I record as much as I can, so that during the week I'll just be uploading, because during the week I am super busy. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. There is COVID out there. Do what you need to do to take care of your families, to take care of yourselves. Stay safe and be blessed. Goodbye.